Welcome into Talk of the Town this week right here on C19 TV. Tim Foster with you. So great to have you along. Hey, can you believe the kids are back in school, getting close to Labor Day, and that means you see it on your screen, an unbelievable event, the Earl Scruggs Music Festival. And who else could we have but the executive director of the Earl Scruggs Center, of course, Mary Beth Martin. Mary Beth, welcome to Talk of the Town.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
It's always great to have you, and you're a busy lady these days because we're just days away from the Earl Scruggs Music Festival. We're going to talk about the entire show, the breakdown, who's going to be there this year, an unbelievable lineup on this entire episode of Talk of the Town. It's so great to have you along. But Mary Beth, I just want to talk a little bit about how's the summer been at the museum. I know folks can still get in free on Saturdays. Tell us a little bit about the summer and how things have been going.
Yeah, so we've been really busy this summer with a whole slate full of programming. One of the things that we were most excited to offer this summer were beginner and intermediate guitar and banjo camps for kids.
I noticed that.
Yeah, so
How was that?
They were wonderful. So it was really a great opportunity for young learners to come in, have access to an instrument, and have access to lessons where they may not otherwise, but just a great way to immerse themselves in the music. Our instructor is Justin Harper, and he's the orchestra teacher at Crest Middle School, and he's just an incredible teacher. And so those were really great this summer.
Yeah, it looked pretty awesome. How many students did you have in an individual class, or did it differ depending on the class?
It differed depending on the class, but I think our largest class was 12 students. So, really small classes, so hands-on learning. Justin, our instructor, can work one-on-one. And then really the coolest thing for the camp is at the end of the week, the students put on a little concert and demonstrate what they learned to their parents, who come and pick them up the last day.
And that's special.
Yes, it really is.
And I bet there were a few grandparents there as well.
Oh, yes. So lots of friends and family to come support them and hear what they've learned. And my hope is that they will leave that experience and that they will want to pursue, the music even further. So
yeah,
it's great.
We're going to talk about the festival, but from your standpoint, talk about the impact of music in our society, Mary Beth.
Well, music is really important. A lot of times I feel like, we know our world is divided, and we know that people have different opinions, and people come from different places. Music seems to be the thing that brings us together often. We can sort of, come together around music, and here in our community, it's really important. Our community has a long history and legacy of music with great artists like Earl Scruggs, of course. We talk about him every day at the Scruggs Center, but also Don Gibson and Sonny Terry and the, just incredible amount of local musicians who are performing in all genres today. So it's just something that I hope that we can all unite around and celebrate here in our community.
Yeah, it really is awesome. And of course, as you've talked about, you have a lot of people that are just coming to visit. They may be visiting for maybe their third or fourth time, or they may be out of town visiting for the first time. As we're taping, we're just winding down the American Legion World Series. You had a lot of people coming through. Talk about folks that are visiting. I know you see a lot on a weekly basis.
Yeah, so we have people that come from all over to visit the Earl Scruggs Center. And most of those people who are traveling from out of town, they're coming because they love Earl and they love the music that he made. And so they come to the museum as kind of a pilgrimage, to see some of Earl's instruments, to learn more about his life, to come back to the place where it all started. But when they get there, they learn more about our community and the important history of our community and really the music and culture of our community. So we've had visitors from all the states, all 50 states, and from over 20 countries.
That's
and so
pretty
it's
amazing.
Not unusual to get international visitors at the Scruggs Center.
Right.
In fact, I have to tell this story from earlier in the summer. I was walking through the museum, and I heard an accent I didn't recognize.
Really?
So I always try to talk to our visitors when I'm walking through the museum, and I met these two men. They were from the UK. And so I started asking, what brought you here? Are you visiting family? And they said, we came on a 2-week tour of the southeastern United States, but we came because we wanted to come to the Earl Scruggs Center.
Wow.
So that was the first stop. They had just flown into Charlotte, and they were planning this trip through Georgia, through Mississippi and Louisiana, doing like a blues trail.
Sure.
But their first and primary stop was the Earl Scruggs Center. And it was almost, they almost got emotional being there, going back to the roots of the music that they love so much. So those are the kind of folks that we get at the Scruggs Center. And then, of course, our local visitors, too. Like you mentioned, Saturdays are free for Cleveland County residents. So we have people come in and learn more about their community and take part in all the programming that we offer.
Yeah, that's really remarkable, and the impact. And we've talked about it. The music we see it on on the weekends. You know, you can see a lot of local bands and a variety of restaurants are playing outside. Obviously, with the Earl Scruggs Center, with the Don Gibson Theater, we've got folks coming from all over the world. And Shelby is on the map. It's been on the map, and it continues to be on the map. And it seems like, and you've talked about it when you've been on Talk of the Town, that you continue to get folks from different parts of the country. And it just didn't happen like once every 3 or 4 years. We're talking quite a few times a year.
Regularly.
Yeah.
So we have a concert series at the Scruggs Center that runs from March through August. So we just finished it up, and we see folks come from all over the region. They're Thursday night shows. They last an hour and a half.
Sure.
And we see people come from Charlotte, from upstate South Carolina, because they've learned what the Scruggs Center is all about, and they learn about the quality programming that we put on in the concert series and the type of artists that we bring in. And so, you know, we have season ticket holders from, you know, over an hour away that come to every single one of our shows. Plus, you know, each show usually draws people from farther away depending on the artist. So, yeah, we see visitors, music lovers from all over come to the Scruggs Center.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Yeah, and it just continues to grow because it is a fabulous place. And if you hadn't been there, you need to go check it out, see Mary Beth, and as we talked about, it's a pretty remarkable tour for sure. Well, we're just days away from the Earl Scruggs Music Festival, and I want to start out talking about your stages. And we got some pictures of that before we even get into the lineup this year. But let's talk a little bit about your stages that we're going to see on the screen here momentarily. And this is really a neat part because you got multiple stages, and now as you see on the screen there, talk a little bit about what we're seeing. There's Darren and Brooke in previous years. What's this stage right here, Mary Beth?
So this is called the Foggy Mountain Stage.
Okay.
And so Earl's probably most famous, most recognizable tune is the Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Right.
It's probably the most famous tune in all of bluegrass music.
Probably.
And so, you know, as we've been crafting the Earl Scruggs Music Festival over the past 4 years, there are all sorts of references to Earl, of course, local and throughout his career. And so that's where the Foggy Mountain Stage comes from, referencing back, you know, Flatt and Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys and Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Yeah, and I believe that's at night, is it not?
Yes, that's one of the nighttime sets. So that stage runs from the morning through late night when it gets really fun.
Yes, when it gets a lot of fun.
And cools down.
Yeah, and then the big stage, and we'll be talking about some names a little bit later on the show related to that. By the way, the festival, 29th, 30th, 31st of August, just right around a few days out. Tell us about the big stage here.
So that stage is called the Flint Hill Stage, which is a reference to the community here in Cleveland County where Earl was born and raised.
Yeah.
It was a place that he talked about a lot. It was a place that helped shape who he was as a musician. It's a place where he met other musicians who influenced his music. And so we felt like it was very important for the main stage to reference that because that's who Earl was. He was a person from Flint Hill, you know, from Cleveland County, North Carolina.
He wasn't from Hollywood.
He was not. He was not from Nashville either.
No, he
lived
wasn't.
in Nashville, but he was from Flint Hill, and he was always very proud of that. So it's really important that, you know, we reference that at the festival. And so our main stage is the Flint Hill Stage. So you'll see our biggest acts performing, our headliners performing on the Flint Hill Stage. And as you can see there, it gets pretty full, and
It's packed.
you know, great lighting and, you know, all that. And so, you know, it's a really wonderful experience.
Before we go to break, talk to us about the location of this event because Mill Springs, but Trine and the Equestrian, I mean, it's a phenomenal. Without this facility, you couldn't put this event on the way that you want to. But talk about the importance of that before we go to break, and then we'll come back and really break down the entire festival. But talk about your location, Mary Beth.
I'm glad you brought that up because we do have incredible partners at Isothermal Community College and WNCW.
Yes.
But the Trine International Equestrian Center as our venue is really a unique spot in all of music festivals that I've been to. I've never been to one where the venue offers what the Equestrian Center does.
Yeah.
So in addition to, you know, spaces for the stages, which you saw in the photos, there's also lodging on site. So you can stay right there. And you can do that in a couple different, or a variety of different forms. You can stay at an on-site hotel.
Right.
You can bring your camper. You can tent camp, or you can stay in a cabin. So it really offers, you know, whatever you might want as a festival goer. There are on-site restaurants. So you can sit down and you can have a meal. And, you know,
Great food.
it's over Labor Day weekend, so it's really hot.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
But there are plenty of places to get out of the heat, including those restaurants and other indoor spaces. So as far as the music festival goes, I feel like our venue is extremely unique, and that's one thing that sets the Earl Scruggs Music Festival apart from others.
Yeah, it's a really great partnership, and as it just continues to grow, that is very, very special. Well, Mary Beth, you hang out, and folks at home, go get you a beverage. Stay cool, of course, if it's hot out there today. When we come back, we're going to break it down. It's an unbelievable lineup for the Earl Scruggs Music Festival. We're talking about that great event, Labor Day weekend. We'll take a break, and we'll have more Talk of the Town right after this.
For many kids, just showing up to school is a challenge. Staying through graduation is even harder. So at Communities and Schools, we do just what our name says. Our staff brings a community of resources to meet each student's needs right in their school, doing whatever it takes to keep kids focused so they see what we see, a bright future. Join in at communitiesinschools.org.
Chef Paul Prudhomme once said, "You don't need a silver fork to eat good food." Well, on Cleveland County Kitchen, we don't have a silver fork, but we sure do serve up lots of good food. Hi, I'm Deborah Blanton. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen. Each month, we offer a complete farm-to-table experience. We visit local growers, we learn about nutrition, and wrap things up with wonderful meals prepared by our guest chefs. It's a lot of fun. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen.
Education is our most powerful tool to improve and change our world. Hi, I'm Rhonda Benfield, your host for School Matters. Join me for a new program every other week with information from and about the students and staff of Cleveland County Schools. Discover what our schools are doing to challenge students and help them reach their full potential. You can catch us on Spectrum Cable Channel 19 or stream us live on c19.tv.
It's so great to have you back on Talk of the Town this week on C19 TV. Tim Foster with you, and great to have Mary Beth Martin, of course, Executive Director of the Earl Scruggs Center. Mary Beth, we're talking about the Earl Scruggs Festival. Welcome back to Talk of the Town.
Well, thank you.
Well, before we get into breaking down all the artists that are going to be a part of the event on August 29th, 30th, and 31st, you were talking about, before we went on the air, one of the important aspects of, we talked about partnerships, but you were talking about some other interesting aspects for kids that are part of this great event. So tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, one thing that has been very important to us at the Scruggs Center and to the whole planning team for the festival is that we make the event very family friendly. And there are a few things that we offer for that. One, we have a kids zone and we have programming there all day. So kids have things they can participate in. It's not a drop your kid off, it's parents come and engage too. And so there's kids activities, and it's very important for us to make sure our event is safe and family friendly.
Sure.
So, families can come and feel like this is also an experience for my children too. That's important to me as a parent.
Certainly.
And so we hope that resonates through our festival. The other thing that has been really important to us that we've built on each year, the educational aspects of the Earl Scruggs Music Festival. So, of course, coming from a museum background and that being a part of what we're doing is talking about the history of the music and Earl's legacy, offering things to people of all ages to really teach them about the history, but also to continue the music. And so, bluegrass music, old-time music goes back a long way.
Sure.
But it's important that we keep, communicating that and passing it on to the next generation. So one of the things we're most proud of is our partnership with the Junior Appalachian Musicians Program. And it's a program all across the region in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, where they teach children about, Appalachian music. And so there are some really strong jam chapters in our region. And so we've partnered with them, and the Junior Appalachian Musician students come on site to the festival.
That's
so
great.
they participate, they attend the festival, but we also organize workshops just for them. So it may be talking about the music business. Do you want to get into the music business and have people who know about that come and talk to them? Or it could be instrument workshops. Do you want a dobro lesson with Jerry Douglas? He'll come
Yeah.
in and have a conversation with
yeah.
a small group of young people.
And that is powerful, yeah.
It is powerful, and so each year that part of our programming has grown, and we've been really proud of that. Another thing we do is we put young people on stage. So you'll notice on the Foggy Mountain stage, which we've talked about, at the beginning of each day we have several jam-affiliated bands, that's Junior Appalachian musicians. So they create their own ensembles within the program,
Sure.
and so we give them an opportunity to perform at the festival.
Wow.
And it's really great to see some of those students. We've seen some of them come back in bands that we've now booked for the festival
Yeah.
after they've graduated from high school. So to see them pursue that music career and feel like we were part of helping them move forward and giving them a stage to play on has been really important. Another thing that I think is really unique about our festival is our workshop series.
Sure.
And that's where we have conversations about different parts of the music. So, it'll be a panel of artists from the festival, and they will talk about the history of the music or Earl's early life. This year, what's really exciting is we're going to have a panel that's going to feature children of the Foggy Mountain Boys. So people
Wow.
who grew up around Flat and Scruggs
Yeah.
and around that whole scene. They're going to come and talk about what was it like to grow up around that. And so just experiences that you're not going to get anywhere else, and we're pulling different people and different perspectives together that you might not see anywhere else. So that's something that's been very popular.
That's awesome, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's got to be awesome for the kids. And those are memories that they'll, and who knows, you may get somebody that didn't have as much interest in music and has a couple of those sessions, and all of a sudden it could change their life.
Yeah, and that's really the hope, is that
Yeah.
we're helping raise up the next generation of musicians.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really awesome, Mary Beth. All right, well, let's check out this lineup, and and we're going to keep this up for a little while, and let's start with Friday, August 29th. Again, Earl Scruggs Music Festival, Tryon International, right in Mill Springs. So it looks like your main act, the Wood Brothers and War and Treaty, and I tell you, but you're talking about two great acts right there, and one of the other things, obviously, is you see them. But one of the things that you were talking about during the break, Mary Beth, is we've got a lot of local talent from around this area. So talk a little bit about that for Friday, August 29th.
Yeah, so looking at Friday, August 29th, you mentioned the Wood Brothers and the War and Treaty sort of being our headliners.
Yeah.
And then we're bringing back Tony Trishka's Earl Jam,
Yeah.
which they've been to the festival before, but it's always great to have Tony Trishka there. He is, one of the most beloved banjo players, today.
Very talented,
and
yeah.
he honors Earl in this big way, so it's important. But you mentioned local talent, and so if you'll see Finkelstein 3, they're a local Shelby band. They're an incredible band, and so we're really excited that they're going to be with us at the festival this year. I also want to mention the Hen House Prowlers, because
Okay, yeah.
they come to Shelby every year, and they do educational programming for about 1,000 Cleveland County students.
Really?
And then do a concert at the Scruggs Center. So not only are they incredible musicians, but they also do educational programming as the Bluegrass Ambassadors. So we're so glad to have them at the festival to bring some of that this year. So really incredible lineup. You'll also see throughout our lineup that we have a lot of North Carolina bands.
Yeah.
And so one thing I want to point out, on Saturday, August 30th, you'll see the Healing the Hollers featuring Unspoken Tradition.
Yeah.
So throughout this festival, there's going to be conversations and recognition on Hurricane Helene and how that affected artists in western North Carolina.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable, yeah.
And so that special Healing the Hollers set will feature some artists who were affected by Hurricane Helene. But instead of talking about, here's how it affected us and, here's everything that we lost, because they certainly did. Some of them lost everything.
They did.
But it's talking about resilience and how music helps us move forward, and, how they've come together as a community to move forward and to rebuild. So a very
Yeah.
hopeful, theme of that set. And then also Unspoken Tradition, who they're our host artists for that set. They're local to Cleveland, well, not Cleveland County, but very close to Cleveland County. And they've played with a lot of Cleveland County musicians. But I have to mention our headliner for Saturday.
Yeah, and I think we've got, let's talk about it, because I think we've got another graphic related to Allison Krauss, Union. There it is, Union Station, featuring Jerry Douglas. The buzz for this has been really around since the first of the year.
Yeah, so we were so excited. We worked on booking Allison Krauss since before last year's
Yeah,
festival.
I'm sure you
so that
did.
was We got wind that they were going to go on tour, and started working on it immediately because we felt like this had to be a part of our festival this year, and so we were able to do it. And so they're headlining the festival on Saturday night.
Unbelievable.
I think it helps that Jerry Douglas has been our festival host.
That helps a little bit.
Yeah, he might have helped us some with that. But we're just so excited to have Alison Krauss and Union Station. They haven't toured in a number of years.
Yeah, you're talking about the history of their music, just phenomenal.
And one of these artists who have taken bluegrass, that comes along once in a generation that takes it to the next level. And so we're so excited to have Alison. I mean, she's just an incredible, iconic artist. And
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're just very honored that the Earl Scruggs Music Festival is part of that big tour.
Yeah, and I would think that night, and they will play that night, obviously, no telling how many thousands and thousands you may have there that night. We were it's hard to say, but it'll be an unbelievable crowd for sure.
Absolutely.
And then, wow, I mean, you think about Wood Brothers, Warren Treaty, Alison Krauss Union Station featuring Jerry Douglas, all the North Carolina, the local aspect, and then you get to Sunday the 31st, and you've got the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and the Del McCurry Band. Talk a little bit about some other folks that'll be playing as part of that day as well, Mary Beth.
Yeah, so, Darren and Brooke Aldridge will be there. They're always there on Sunday for us.
Yes.
And they do a very special gospel set, so we're really excited to have them back this year. Darren Nicholson Band, Songs from the Road Band, both North Carolina acts.
Yeah.
Watch House is a North Carolina act, so we felt like that it was certainly wonderful to be able to book that many North Carolina acts for Sunday. I want to talk a little bit about the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band set. So
Sure.
They're going to do something really special. This is their final tour, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's
Been
final
around
tour.
a long time.
We had them at the first festival, and we try not to rebook the same acts, but sometimes you just have to.
Yeah.
And Del McCurry's another one of those acts that we've rebooked. But the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, they're going to play through the entire Circle album.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
Earl was a very important part of the Circle album,
Yeah.
which brought bluegrass and traditional music to an entirely new generation in the 1970s and helped sort of reinvigorate the careers of people like Maybelle Carter and Roy Acuff. Brought Doc Watson into that album.
Right.
So it was really
So they're playing
important.
the entire album.
They're playing through the album with special guests. So it's going to be a set that you're not going to ever see again
Wow.
and you don't want to miss.
No.
Yeah, so Sunday's also going to be a big day.
Unbelievable. Well, you see the lineup there, ladies and gentlemen, and it is packed. And, so we got to talk about tickets. Obviously right now, you were telling me the other day, they're selling fast, but there's still plenty out there as we get closer and closer to the event. So let's say that I don't get my tickets early and I want to go, I head down there on Friday, the day of, should still be able to get tickets?
Well, we're a few days away, and I think
Yeah.
you can still buy tickets at the gate. Maybe something changes in the next few days, but right now tickets are available at the gate. So you can buy them at the gate, but I highly encourage people to buy them online ahead of time.
Sure.
It's just a lot easier if you do that, and it's less expensive to buy them online
That's
than
a
at
good
the gate.
thing, yeah. And what's the site if folks want to go?
It's earlscruggsmusicfest.com.
Yep, and there it is. And there's even a number there if folks want to call.
Sure.
Call you guys, and if they have questions, they can certainly call you to talk about all the lineup. Now, talk a little bit about each day. What time will the artists kick off on the different stages leading up to the final events at night each day?
So we have programming that starts at 10 a.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It starts earlier on the Foggy Mountain stage and doesn't start until the late afternoon on the Flint Hill stage. So there's programming on site from 10 a.m. on Foggy Mountain stage or the workshop stage or the new Silver Spoon Saloon at the Equestrian Center. And then, like I said, late afternoon through the evening, we have programming on the Flint Hill stage.
Yep, and you're seeing the different stages that are going to be a part of this great event. And there's something for everybody. That's the thing I love. As you talked about, you can take a break if it is tremendously hot, get you a beverage, get you some food. You can stay on site. You can stay pretty close if you're not on site. You can go up for the day. You can go up. So now, can you get a 3-day pass or is it a daily pass? Talk about that aspect.
Either one. So you can
Okay.
get a 3-day pass or you can get daily passes depending on which artist you might be interested in. And all of that's available online at different levels, from the VIP level all the way to the general admission level, which is still great.
Right.
And so it's just a lot of opportunity to see a lot of good music. And I also like to point out too, it's not all bluegrass, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
Earl Scruggs was more and much bigger than than just bluegrass. You know, he played with a lot of different artists and a lot of different genres. So you find that in our festival programming.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you looking forward to the most? I know you
gosh.
and your crew have been getting ready. It's been a lot of preparation as we head into it, and you know, there's going to be so many great acts. It's probably hard to choose this year, I would think.
It is really hard to choose, and you know, of course, I can't wait to see Alison Krauss.
Yes, that's going to be big. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and there you see it, ladies and gentlemen, and she'll be on, of course, Saturday night, August 30th, and Alison Krauss Union Station, and you just heard Mary Beth talk about Nitty Gritty Dirt Band are going to do the whole Circle album from the 1970s. There's a lineup again. And as we look at that lineup again, Mary Beth, as we're winding down here for this great edition of Talk of the Town, there it is, Friday night, Wood Brothers and Warren. Let's talk about Warren Treaty. They're a really neat band. Talk a little bit about Warren Treaty.
Yeah, they're a couple, and they just produce some very soulful country music, and so we're so excited to have them as part of the lineup this year.
Yeah,
very excited to have them.
Yeah, they are. They're really neat. And again, you got to mention some of the, you talked about some of the local talent from right here in Cleveland County that'll be a part of the festival.
Yeah, don't miss Finkelstein 3. Don't miss Town Mountain. So they're a band out of Asheville, and they do have one of their band members is from Shelby, Silas Hamilton, and so he's playing pedal steel and doing big things in that world. So we're very excited to have them at the festival this year. Just the entire lineup is incredible, and so it's hard to say which day I tell people to come to. People say, if you could pick one day to come to, what would it be?
Just come to the whole thing.
Come to the whole thing, because even if you're not sure or if you're unfamiliar with some of these artists, I promise you will come away with a new favorite artist.
And as we head into fall, come to the Earl Scruggs Museum. You come by and visit. Remember, and will you continue to have free Saturdays into the fall?
Yes, we will.
And through 2025. Well, Mary Beth, Martin, exciting times. Earl Scruggs Music Festival, August 29th, 30th, 31st. Thank you for being here, and much success, and have a blast at the festival.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it.
Yep. Hey, if you've got story ideas, email us, info@c19.tv. That'll give us a lot of great ideas as we head into the fall of 2025. Check out the festival. It's going to be a good one, and we'll see you next week for more Talk of the Town. Join us this October for Cleveland Community College Foundation's 5th Annual Yetis Athletics Golf Tournament. Your support funds student athletes, helping them succeed every step of the way. Play with purpose. Tee off for student success. Visit cccyetis.com to register today.